When my wife came out of the shower, I said, "Sit here on the bed. We need to talk." She froze, steam still rising from her skin, but the cold dread in her eyes was unmistakable. After 12 years of marriage, I had never seen Lisa look at me like that, like she was staring at her own execution. But what I was about to tell her wasn't about her affair with her personal trainer. It wasn't about the credit cards she had been hiding or the lies she had told about working late. What I was about to tell her was so much worse that her betrayal would seem like a mercy in comparison. If you're ready for a story that will shatter everything you think you know about marriage, loyalty, and the devastating power of buried secrets, hit that subscribe button now, because what happened in our bedroom that night changed everything I thought I knew about the woman I'd loved for over a decade. My name is David, and 3 days before this confrontation, I thought my biggest problem was a cheating wife. Lisa had been acting strange for months. Secretive phone calls, mysterious expenses, coming home with that guilty flush every husband learns to recognize. I even hired a private investigator who confirmed what I already knew. She was sleeping with Jake, her personal trainer from the gym. I was angry, hurt, ready to file for divorce, but I wanted to confront her first, to hear her try to explain away 12 years of what I thought was a solid marriage. That's when I decided to surprise her by coming home early from my business trip to Chicago. I wanted to catch her in the act, to have undeniable proof so I could walk away with my dignity intact. But when I pulled into our driveway at 2 p.m. on that Tuesday afternoon, Jake's car wasn't there. Instead, there was an ambulance parked outside our house, its lights flashing silently. My heart stopped. I ran toward the front door, but a paramedic intercepted me. "Sir, are you the homeowner?" "Yes." "What happened? Where's my wife?" "She's fine, sir. But we need to speak with you about what we found inside." What they found inside was our 8-year-old golden retriever, Max, dead in the kitchen. But that wasn't the shocking part. The shocking part was the syringe they found beside him and the veterinary-grade euthanasia solution missing from Lisa's purse. Lisa worked as a veterinary technician. She had access to controlled substances that could kill an animal or a person within minutes. The paramedics' next words made my blood turn to ice. "Sir, we also found a notebook hidden in your wife's dresser. It contains detailed plans and dates. We think you need to see this." The notebook was in Lisa's handwriting, but it contained the thoughts of a stranger. Page after page of meticulous planning, dosage calculations, insurance policy research, and a timeline that made my hands shake as I read. She had been planning to kill me for 8 months. Not just planning, practicing. Max wasn't her first victim. According to the notebook, she had been testing the method on neighborhood cats that had gone missing over the past 6 months, perfecting the dosage, timing how long it took, figuring out exactly how to make it look like a heart attack. The final entry was dated for this weekend, the same weekend I was supposed to return from Chicago. "She's been giving you small doses in your coffee for weeks," Detective Morrison explained later that afternoon. "Just enough to make you feel tired, sluggish, maybe a little sick. She was conditioning your body, making it plausible you'd have a sudden cardiac event." I thought about all those mornings when Lisa brought me coffee in bed, insisting I relax while she took care of everything. All those evenings when I'd felt inexplicably exhausted after dinner. All those times I thought she was looking at me with love, when in reality, she was calculating exactly when I'd be weak enough for her final dose. But why? I asked Morrison. The affair? I could understand. But murder? That's when they showed me the real motive. Lisa wasn't just cheating on me with Jake. She had been forging my signature on life insurance documents, increasing my policy to $1.2 million. She had taken out a secret loan against our house to pay Jake's gambling debts. She owed dangerous people over $200,000. She wasn't just betraying our marriage. She was going to kill me to save herself. The affair was just a distraction, a way to stay emotionally detached while planning my murder. But here's what destroyed me completely. Lisa had documented everything in that notebook, including her feelings. In the middle of her cold calculations, she had written something I'll never forget. "David is a good man. He doesn't deserve this. But I'm in too deep now, and Jake says it's the only way out. I keep telling myself it will be quick, that he won't suffer. I'll make sure he knows I loved him before he goes to sleep forever. She was going to murder me and wanted me to die thinking she loved me. Which brings us back to that evening. Lisa, dripping from the shower, staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. I know about Jake, I said quietly. Relief flooded her face. She actually smiled, probably thinking she could handle a cheating scandal. David, I can explain. Can you explain the notebook, Lisa? The color drained from her face. Can you explain Max? The missing cats in our neighborhood? Why you've been slowly poisoning me for 3 weeks? Lisa's legs gave out. She collapsed onto the bed, her towel falling to the floor, her whole body shaking. David, she whispered, you weren't supposed to come home early. That's when the full horror hit me. She wasn't denying it. She was just disappointed her timeline had been disrupted. How long have you been planning to kill me? I asked. 8 months, she whispered. Ever since Jake got in trouble with those loan sharks. We needed money, and your life insurance was the only way out. So, you decided to murder me. I didn't want to, she screamed suddenly. I never wanted any of this. But Jake said they'd kill him if he didn't pay. Then they'd come after me. Panicked. I was in too deep to back out. I stared at the woman I'd shared a bed with for 12 years, realizing I had never truly known her. Lisa, I said finally, there's something I need you to know. She looked up, mascara streaking her cheeks. I forgive you, I said. The shock on her face was complete. Not because you deserve it, I continued, but because carrying hatred for someone who planned to murder me would poison the rest of my life, and I refuse to let you take anything else from me. Lisa sobbed harder. But here's what's going to happen now, I said, reaching for my phone. I'm going to call Detective Morrison, and you're going to confess to everything. Every detail, every plan, every animal you killed while practicing for my murder. David, please. And then you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison, thinking about how you threw away a marriage to a man who would have given you anything, who would have helped you solve any problem, who would have died for you willingly if you'd just been honest about needing help. The police arrested Lisa that night. She was charged with animal cruelty, attempted murder, insurance fraud, and conspiracy. Jake was arrested 2 days later. During the trial, I learned details that still keep me awake at night. Lisa had researched my schedule for months, practiced injecting oranges with the euthanasia solution, even written a fake suicide note in my handwriting to make it look like I had killed myself out of despair over her affair. The betrayal wasn't just the cheating. It wasn't even the plan to kill me. The deepest betrayal was that she had lived with me, slept beside me, shared meals with me, and looked me in the eye every single day while calculating exactly how and when she would end my life. Lisa was sentenced to 25 years in prison. Jake got 15 years as an accessory. I sold our house, moved across the country, and started therapy to process the trauma of discovering that the person I trusted most in the world had been planning my murder for 8 months. 2 years later, I'm slowly learning to trust again. I'm dating someone new, a woman named Sarah, who's patient with my paranoia about coffee, my need to check locks multiple times, and my inability to sleep deeply next to another person. But here's what I want you to understand. The most dangerous betrayals don't come from strangers or enemies. They come from the people who know exactly how to hurt us, because we've trusted them with our vulnerabilities, our routines, our hearts. Lisa knew that I loved her completely, trusted her absolutely, and would never suspect her of wanting to harm me. She used that trust as a weapon, and if I hadn't come home early from that business trip, she would have succeeded. If this story terrified you, if it made you think differently about trust, betrayal, and the people we share our lives with, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories that reveal the darkest sides of human nature. Because sometimes the person sleeping next to you isn't dreaming about your future together. Sometimes they're planning your end.